Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Salam everyone, my name is Said and this is Learn Persian. In the last video, we talked about mastar, that is infinitive or gerund. Either of them is a very good counterpart for this word in English grammar. We said that with mastar, you basically can make everything. You can make different kind of verbs, different type of tenses like past continuous, past perfect, past simple, whatsoever. And you can make also some sort of nouns and adjectives which are originated from the verbal form, that is the mastar form or infinitive form, right? For example, you have, if I want to tell you what do I mean in English, for example, you have bore, that is an infinitive, or to bore, right? From which you can say boring, that is an adjective, right? Or bored, again an adjective. So everything comes from this basic this basic fundamental word mastar. However, in Persian there is a middle step, a go-between step that you need to learn in order to derive that plethora of possible words out of mastar. This middle step is actually another grammatical item which does not have a very accurate counterpart in English grammar. That is bone or stem in English, bone in Persian, or stem in English. And we have two bones in Persian, that is bone gozashte, which means past stem, right? And bone hal, excuse me, bone hal, that would be present stem. Okay, what does it mean? So for, like I said, there is a go-between stage here. So we got mastar as the first step, but in spite of English, we do not directly make verbs and tenses out of this. We need this middle step, okay, out of which we make different kind of tenses and words and adjectives and nouns and everything that could be actually made out of this mastar. Okay, so the functionality of these two new items I just introduced you is that they go between, and you will need them as elements, okay, to make verbs like tenses, like I said, past continuous, present perfect, whatsoever. Okay, you will need these two items. So for every and for each mastar or infinitive in Persian, you will need to know a respective bone gozashte and a respective bone hal. This is very important, okay? Or in English, bone gozashte would be past stem. Let me change the size, and bone hal would be present stem. Okay, now let's move on and see how can we actually derive this bone gozashte and bone hal out of infinitive or the gerund or mastar in Persian. Okay, starting with bone gozashte or past stem. This is very easy. This is very easy. So if you want to move from mastar to bone gozashte, and if you remember the general form of mastars in Persian, they all end with a n at the end. So for example, we have raftan. What does it mean? It means to go or going. As you can see, it ends with a n, this one. Okay, now if you want to make this past stem out of your mastar, which is raftan, all you need to do is to eliminate or drop this ending ne. Okay, so you will have raftan. Sorry, you will have raft for raftan. So raftan رفت. Okay, what about this one? We had this داشتن, that is to have or having, to possess, right? Just drop the ne and you will be fine. داشت, داشت, okay, داشت. So this column is masters, this guy, and this column is bone گذشته or past stem, this guy. Easy, right? And as a last example, maybe bipartite verb like بازی کردن. It means what? It means to play, to play. And again, all we need to do is dropping the last ne, the ending ne. So it will be بازی کرد. Done. You got the past stem this easy out of master. Alright, so is the next one bonehal or present stem that easy? Well, I should inform you, no, unfortunately. So the grammar here is not difficult because it's complicated. It's difficult because it's a little itematic. It's a little several items you need to learn in order to become able to formulate. For that reason, there are two ways you can deal with this guy here. Okay, so you can straightforwardly decide to memorize every single master's present stem. That is the present stem. You memorize every single infinitive or gerund, the present stem of every single infinitive or gerund. Okay, that is one approach you can take. Okay, and now the other approach is you just learn the formula, which is more complicated than this one. Okay, but still like learnable. All right, so for those who are going to memorize, that is taking the first approach, well, just memorize. I'm giving you some examples like raftan. Okay, it would be ro. See the relationship between these two, between this guy bonehal, present stem, and master is not very vivid. See, raftan, that is master, and ro is bonehal. Well, not very vivid how you can derive one from the other. But the relationship between this and this is just very obvious. This is just all about a ne, that is added or removed. So if you want to go from master to bone گذشته or past stem, you just drop the ne. For this way, for this, let's say this way, you just drop the ne, that is minus ne. Okay, and for going from this guy bone گذشته to master, you just add the ne, that is plus ne, like the reverse from this. See, raftan plus ne, sorry, raft plus ne is raftan, داشت plus ne is داشتن. See, easy. So basically, if I want to put it simple for you, you have two ways dealing with this part of Persian grammar, which is fundamental, the most fundamental part of the Persian grammar in some sense. So if you are a memorizer, you can memorize this, okay, and this, because if you memorize this, you literally memorize everything, things that are derived from these two guys, to which we will actually on which we will work in the next videos. Okay, and you have also memorized this guy, because the difference between this and this is just a ne. So if you remember this form of anything, of any verb you are given, okay, you just add a ne and you will have the infinitive or gerund of that verb too. That is, you memorize, for example, raft, okay, and you just add a ne. This way you will have raftan. Or you can alternatively, let me put it in another color, maybe blue. Yeah, alternatively, guys, you can learn this, that is, memorize this and this, because you would say, okay, these two are not very correlated in shape and form, and therefore I'm memorizing them just separately. I'm not learning the relationships. There are some relationships I will teach you. That is the third method I'm telling you. But in this method, this second method, which is still based on memorization, you memorize this separately and this separately, and then you derive this out of this, which is this way. But to make it more symmetric, I would suggest, if you are a memorizer, like I said, if you are a memorizer, all you need to do is memorize these two green boxes, because that will suffice everything. Okay, you can learn mastar and infinitive out of this very easily. All right, now to make the list complete here, let me put the other forms of this guy. So داشتن and بازی کردن. What are the infinitive forms of these two? Sorry, present stem form of these two. داشتن, for داشتن we have دار, and for بازی کردن we got, okay, بازی کن. You may say, yeah, the relationship between this column, right, and this one is not very obvious, and maybe I should just memorize this and this separately. That is a valid solution. I can say that is a valid solution. But you can also learn some formulas which help you go from this to this, like procedurally, like based on a formula, a relationship, right, a logic. If you want to know the formula, I think I should go on that on a separate video. Okay, for now, let us assume that you are a memorizer, because that is just fine. I won't blame you if you choose that. That is just one way which works for lots of people just better. Okay, but if you want to know how to make, what is the formula, what is the procedure from going from this to this, right, I will teach you in the next video, because this video will be too long. In this video we just learned what are these two guys first off, and second, how to go from this to this, or vice versa, because like I said, from this to this is dropping the n at the end. From this to this is just adding the n at the end. Okay, basically the same. But from this to this, it's a little, this is a little more difficult, let's be honest. Okay, and I will teach you that in the next videos. Thank you so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, introduce my channel, and message me, send me email or on Skype if you want to have any private class with me. Thank you so much. See you on the next video.